Good and welcome to the Niggly Newscast. It's the Diggly Doodad, Dr. Peptoid Panther, Mr. Slippers here for a little Plunket Shield team selection dissection, rolling out the deucer out the front of the hand just to get you on the back foot, and then we'll just sneak it in there late on the cut shot. You're not Ross Taylor, don't be playing cut shots like that to the deucer, right? Rightio. Plunket Shield cricket. Every round of Plunket Shield cricket, I just like to have a little look at the teams that were selected for that round. And round 3, I think this is the last round of the first stanza of Plunket Shield cricket. So after this, we move into Ford Trophy cricket. And this round started on last Friday. So I am recording this on Monday morning, which is the morning of day 4, I believe. So we'll just crack straight into some team selections. I wrote about the seam bowlers from the first couple of innings in this round of Plunket Shield. You had wickets from Lockie Ferguson, wickets from Ben Sears, wickets from Neil Wagner. So if you are looking for something to read today, go read about the fast, hostile, dangerous seam bowlers that took some wickets in Plunket Shield cricket over the weekend. And once again, I don't really go into performances in this podcast. I just suss out any new faces who are playing Plunket Shield cricket and any team rotations that are going down as well. So we are going to start with Central District Stags, who are taking on the Wellington Firebirds. No, whoa. They are taking on Canterbury. So you got Central District Stags versus Canterbury. And for the Stags, it's a pretty simple selection here. They have gone with Ben Stoyanov, selected ahead of Jared Mackay. So again, I don't really know what injuries are happening. I'm just reading off the team list and telling you what I can see. That's kind of a fringe seamer replacing a fringe seamer. The Central District Stags are ravaged by injury at the moment. They are without their pretty much full stable of very good domestic seamers, and they are rotating through some fringe seamers. So you've got Stoyanov, Toole, Rance and Luddick doing the bulk of the seam there, with Ajaz Patel offering the spin. I don't really see Toole and Stoyanov in a top full strength first 11 for the Stags if they have guys like Ben Wheeler, Doug Bracewell, Adam Milne in their team. But those, again, Central District Stags have plenty of depth, and they are rolling that depth out pretty much every game. They are unleashing a slightly different, slightly new face. So not too many changes in that Stags batting lineup to the best of my knowledge. Fairly settled. But yeah, they are just rotating a couple of seamers on the fringes of their first 11 or just top tier squad. Canterbury have done the same. They have replaced Andrew Hazeldine with Fraser Sheet. Fraser Sheet just appears to be a medium pacer, right arm medium pace, and he's got a damn good first class record, averaging 27 with his medium pace, and he comes into the Canterbury lineup as a seam bowler. That's the only change for the Canterbury team. And anyone listening to my coverage of Plunket Shield cricket or reading my coverage of Plunket Shield cricket in these first few rounds, I haven't been too high on the Canterbury seam bowlers. Just don't think there's a whole lot of X factor there. And Fraser Sheet had an immediate impact. Again, I won't go deep into that performance, but he came into the Canterbury bowling lineup and had an immediate impact and replaced Andrew Hazeldine. So I suspect we'll see a bit more of Fraser Sheet throughout the season, again considering he's averaging 27 after 6 games of first-class cricket, not including this game that is going down right now, and he is 21 years old from Christchurch, so big it up for Fraser Sheet. Then we have the Northern Districts Knights, who are taking on the Otago Volts. That Stags versus Canterbury game is being played at Saxton Oval in Nelson, FYI. And then Northern Districts versus Otago Volts is being played in Otago. Now, we have the Knights team. And a couple of changes here. Obviously, Trent Bolt went into the Black Caps T20 squad, so he was out and he was replaced by Zach Gibson, another young seamer who... He's a tall lad, doesn't bowl overly quick. He's just kind of a standard Kiwi seamer. And then Dean Brownlee came in for Peter Bocock, batting in the middle order. I think Dean Brownlee suffered an injury after that opening game, and then he missed the second game, comes back in for the third game. Otherwise, it's a fairly settled Northern Districts lineup for this game, but you are going to lose the likes of BJ Watling and Neil Wagner, who have played all 3 games of Plunket Shield this summer. But they are going to obviously move into Black Caps Test cricket later in this week, I believe. So there'll be a few more rotations from their team. But for this game, Peter Bocock and Trent Bolt are out. Dean Brownlee batting number 4, and Zach Gibson coming into the seam attack to replace Trent Bolt. Otago and Auckland didn't play any cricket in the last round due to weather. So we don't have, they only had a squad for those games, so we don't know exactly who's in and out, but to the best of my knowledge, you've got Dale Phillips came in to open the innings for the Otago Volts, and I think he came into the team replacing Neil Broome, the veteran, who is out. So Dale Phillips, younger brother of Glenn Phillips, he is opening for the Otago Volts, and they have... all their youngsters. Dale Phillips opening, Dean Foxcroft number 3, Nick Kelly number 5, Mitch Renwick number 6, Nathan Smith number 7. That's a very young Otago Volts batting lineup, and their bowling lineup is equally as young. Jacob Duffy, Matthew Bacon, Michael Ray. So very young Otago Volts squad that I like. Another player missing is Mr. Muller, Travis Muller, who was a surprise appearance in the first round, maybe 2 rounds. He is out of this Otago Volts team, and we have Matthew Bacon, I think, comes in. Again, there wasn't a first 11 from last week, but we do have Bacon coming into the team for this week. So good to see that trio of young Volt seamers. I like that trio. I like Duffy, I like Bacon, I like Ray. They're all right arm seamers, but they get that heavy ball. They move the ball around as well. Right armers swinging the ball away from right handers and just getting at the batsman, as they like to say. So I do like that look of the Otago Volts bowling attack. The Wellington Firebirds are playing against the Auckland Aces, and there is a swap at the top of the order for the Wellington Firebirds. Andrew Fletcher replaced Rachin Ravindra for last round, and then Ravindra just came straight back in. So there's a clear pecking order at the top for the Wellington Firebirds. Ravindra and Coulson, I believe, are the favoured opening duo. Coulson isn't really scoring a lot of runs at the moment, so I will just raise that idea that maybe Fletcher would come in at some stage. Fletcher was amazing in the Ford Trophy, so expect to see a lot of him in the Ford Trophy this year. And then Ben Sears came back into the seam attack, replacing leg spinner Peter Younghusband. So still no Hamish Bennett and Ollie Newton for the Wellington Firebirds, but there's plenty of solidarity in that seam attack. Logan Van Beek, Ben Sears, and Ian McPeak are the kind of not grizzly, they're just the most comfortable with domestic cricket bowling. Ben Sears has only played 2 or 3 Plunket Shield games, played a lot of Super Smash and Ford Trophy last summer. He's a hostile seamer, and then you still have Michael Snedden, I think it is. He is still in that first 11. So if Hamish Bennett and Ollie Newton return to a Firebirds first 11, I believe they'll come back for Snedden and McPeak. But again, Wellington Firebirds just plugging their holes. Auckland Aces So like the Otago Volts, they didn't play last week, so we don't have like a first 11 to compare them to. But we can see that Lockie Ferguson has come into the Aces bowling attack to prepare for Black Caps Test cricket possibly. He replaced Jamie Brown in the bowling attack, and then Martin Guptill went to join the Black Caps T20 squad, and he was replaced by Graham Beggan at the top of the order. So another fairly settled lineup there for the Auckland Aces, just like for like replacements, opening batsman replacing opening batsman, and then the pecking order is evident for the Auckland Aces in the seam attack. You got Kyle Jamieson and Matt McEwen. They hold their places. Jamie Brown played the first 2 rounds and dropped out for Lockie Ferguson here, which leaves Ben Lister to... I like Ben Lister, but he's obviously behind Jamie Brown in that Aces seam bowling pecking order, and both of them are behind Lockie Ferguson. Obviously, Lockie Ferguson is the man, so he is in that Auckland Aces bowling attack. So once again, I wrote about the wickets from the hostile seam bowlers. I'm going to write about run scorers tomorrow and just keep some cricket content flowing. The Black Caps wrapped up their T20 International Series against England. We have England are playing against the New Zealand 11. We'll bring that up just to bolster out this podcast. The New Zealand 11 that was selected is basically guys who aren't playing Plunket Shield or Ford Trophy cricket. So they are on the fringes of their domestic teams, and then they just come together to give the England team a preparation game, and then so that starts tomorrow, Tuesday, Aotearoa time. That team features Leo Carter from Canterbury, Finn Allen from Auckland, Jacob Buller, Wellington, Jack Boyle, Canterbury, Max Chu, Otago, Jake Gibson, ND, Scott Johnston, ND, Ben Lister, Auckland, Ken McClure, Canterbury, Sandeep Patel, Northern Districts, Henry Shipley, and Theo Van Workom, both from Canterbury. The guys who are very familiar with domestic cricket but are obviously out of the first 11s at the moment. Leo Carter and Jack Boyle are very promising Canterbury batsmen, so it'll be interesting to see what kind of runs they can score, along with Ken McClure. All 3 of the promising Canterbury batsmen are in this game, but haven't played much cricket this summer for Canterbury. So what they do, and that's because of Tom Latham, Henry Nicholls probably coming back into that Canterbury lineup. What Leo Carter, Jack Boyle and Ken McClure do for the New Zealand 11 against England, I think that's going to be pretty cool. See what happens there. And yeah, that's pretty much where the funk sits in that game. Later in the week, though, we have a New Zealand A team. So this is more blokes who are on the fringes of Black Cap selection. So the New Zealand 11 is guys who are around domestic teams, but are on the fringes of domestic teams and are available for that game. New Zealand A is like the next best, obviously. So you got Tom Blundell, Kyle Jamieson, Scott Kugelheim, Daryl Mitchell, Jimmy Neesham, Ajaz Patel, Glenn Phillips, Rachin Ravindra, Hamish Rutherford, Tim Seifert, Will Somerville, Blair Tickner. First thing that stands out for me here is Will Somerville and Ajaz Patel selected. They're going to be battling out for a spin spot. But then, just forecasting Black Caps Test selection, Mitchell Santner is having a great resurgent period, and I wouldn't be surprised if he just goes straight back into the Test team, which bumps Ajaz Patel and Will Somerville out of the picture for home tests in Aotearoa. And obviously, Todd Astl's not in this New Zealand A squad, neither is Ish Sodhi, so they are below Ajaz Patel and Will Somerville in the Test bowling rankings. And then you've also got Rachin Ravindra again earning New Zealand A selection. Made his New Zealand A debut before he made his first class debut in domestic cricket. He went on the tour to United Arab Emirates this time last year. Then he came back to Aotearoa for a series against India A. So Rachin Ravindra has gone straight from Aotearoa under 19 to Aotearoa A. And he's here again to face England. which is fair enough. Like, he's a very talented cricketer. I like the presence of Glenn Phillips in the longer format, being a huge supporter of Glenn Phillips as a long format batsman, as well as Jimmy Neesham, Daryl Mitchell, and Tim Seifert. These are dudes who have all scored Plunket Shield runs. These are dudes who have all executed their skills and their talents across all formats. They don't look at these dudes like just because they're in the Black Caps T20 team that they are selected in this New Zealand A team because of their T20 work. No, these dudes are selected in the New Zealand A team because they have been very solid performers in the long form of cricket in Aotearoa for a number of years now, and that's deserved selection here. Tom Blundell captains the team, fair enough, he's like next up wicketkeeper. Interesting that they've got Blundell and Seifert. Seifert will play as a batsman, I reckon, and Blundell will be the wicketkeeper. But that's another sign of the depth of wicketkeeper batsmen in Aotearoa, and selecting them both is justified because they both score heaps of runs, so good on them. So that's the New Zealand A team. We've got a New Zealand 11. New Zealand A start their game on Friday. Both those games are up in Whangarei, Cobham Oval, so check those out if you're from the north of Aotearoa. And then we move into Black Caps Test cricket, so funky times, that's what we're here for. Kiwi cricket, domestic cricket, Plunket Shield. We'll do a full Black Caps podcast with the wildcard. We'll do a full Plunket Shield wrap-up podcast with the wildcard. And until then, kia kaha, stay beautiful. It's a Monday. Stay up there. Start your week nicely. Get some shit done. Be nice to people. And just get on that front foot, baby. Spark up some momentum and manifest that glory. Chit chit.